Hi everyone. So I'm here today to do Mixed Media Morsels Motivations, page 1. And I'm really excited that I was able to get this done a little bit earlier than I had expected. And so we're going to jump right in, and what I'm going to show you is what I did for the very first page. Since it's a single page, I added a jelly print that I had here and a little bit of washi tape. And then I took a piece of drywall tape and just used some white paint to put a little texture on that jelly printed background. And then once that was dry, I added a little cover page basically that I had typed up on my computer, printed it out. And I'm just ripping it out to attach to that cover page, that very first single page. And then once I get it glued down, I take a pen, just a regular pen, and just doodled a scribbly border all the way around in the shape of that torn paper. And I added a little bit more washi tape around the edges. This one's a black one because I thought it would go well with the lettering on the title. So I like how that turned out. And then I took a gold painter's pen and I just doodled here and there on that little title area. And I think it made a really sweet little page, and it was so simple. So you guys do whatever you'd like to do for your first page, and anything you'd like to do. I think a cover page is nice with the little title on it and all. So do yours any way you'd like, and have fun with that. So next, I'm going to do page 1, and I'm going to make it a 2-page spread each month. I think that'll be a lot of fun. And there will be some additional pages that you can put, anything you'd like to on those. But I thought we could do 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then when we get to the split between the two signatures, there'll be an additional single page here and a single page here. It would be a little bit difficult to do a 2-page spread because of the gap, but feel free to do whatever you want to on these 2 pages. And then we'll pick up on this side and continue on through the year. And at the end, there will be a couple of pages left back here that you can play with and do whatever you'd like on those. So going to go to the right behind the cover page, and we're going to work on these 2. And I'm just going to put a little bit of deli paper. You can use wax paper, whatever you want, just to protect the other pages and the cover and everything around, because I'm going to put a little bit of paint on these 2 pages. I thought I'd use these colors. I thought I'd use these Dina Wakley colors. I think they will be really cute for what I want to do here. I've got a couple of little images that are going to be going over on the left. I'm going to put some stuff over here as focal point, and then on this side I'll put my motivational quote for this month. So my little images, little pink flower, little fuchsia colored flower, and I'm using some a couple of bits of a colored tape that just some strips I made from a label that I had printed one of my painted papers onto a label and just cut some strips. So I'm going to just use a couple of bits. So these are the colors that are basically going to be over here on this side. So I'm going to do some light colors of those that I showed you just to give a little bit of a background. And I'm going to mix those with a little white and make it a little bit lighter so that these other things stand out nicely on the background. So I'm going to start with the blue and green. They're, you know, more in the same color family, and I'll put a little bit of that here and there and dry it before I add the pink in. And like I said, I'm going to mix, you know, this with some white just to get it, you know, into a lighter shade. Because I just want it to, not necessarily trying to cover everything that's on these pages, but I do want to put some color on the page. So I'm just basically just throwing it here and there. It's more play than anything else, is what I'm trying to say. There's no real plan other than to get paint on the page. So let's see, just going to add it here and there. And we'll throw some blue in too. Get some of this on the page first. And I'm just not even cleaning my brush. I'm just working with it. Working with it as it is, because they're kind of going to blend together a little bit anyway. So I'm just allowing that to happen. And I'm not minding at all. Okay. Okay. So let's dry that up. Okay, now we're going to add the pink, and this time I did wash the brush out because we're going to a different color family. That's a bright pink, but it's pretty. I like it. So I'm just going to kind of take that around the areas that are left white, and then we'll put a little bit in the center as well. Like I said, this is just for play. This is just to get some paint down on the background. And it doesn't have to make sense, really. Just getting some color in there. And backgrounds are like that. They just, the first layer, it doesn't really usually look like a whole lot. So don't stress about that. Okay. Got a little bit of pink, a little bit of green, a little bit of blue. Now I'm going to dry that up. Now I'm going to take a stencil and just add a little bit of white to kind of help to tie all these crazy colors together. I'm just using little bits of the stencil, not the whole thing. And just, you know, putting some little bits here and there for interest, texture. So it's not an in-your-face sort of thing, but you can see it. Let me show you. There we go. So that's an additional layer on top of all the color, and it's making those colors look a little bit more cohesive, and I like that a lot. Okay, so I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to do a little stamping. I'm going to use another stencil before I do any stamping. I want to put some of these small dots in a dark colored ink. This is a cobalt blue, and I think that will give it a little bit of contrast. I'm going to try out some new brushes I got for Christmas. This is the first time I've used them, so I'm excited to see how they're going to work. But I think this is really going to make this really come together. I'm hoping anyway. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so I'm going to get some ink on my brush. Okay, and then I'm going to just do some little areas. Oh, that's so pretty. Gorgeous. Let's see, we'll do a little bit here. Ooh, I like the way that works. That's great, you guys. You don't have to tap it and all that other stuff. Let's see. This is still the same application of the ink too, by the way. Let's put a little down here. Just kind of going in a circular motion. I like the way the brush gets down in these tiny little holes. These are tiny. Some of these are very tiny, and a sponge would not have worked like that. So I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna put a little bit more across the middle here. Here we go. All right, let's get some more ink. It's so cool. Whoops, pulled out my paper. Okay, let's get a little bit more down here. Maybe some up here. Look at what a difference that made. I love it. Made a huge difference. Okay. I like it. Awesome. Very, very nice. I love the brush. Love the brush. If I can remember, I will link these. I got these from, well, I put them on my wish list from Amazon. And so there's a little stray hair here I'm trying to remove. But man, do they work well. And I think this must have been probably a cheaper brand than some of the ones. I heard someone say one time that they were very expensive, but these that I found were not. So I like it. I love the way they work. That was great. Let me show you this up close so you can see how much difference that made. Okay, and now I'm going to use the stamp that I was talking about. I'm going to put a little bit of script in black, and just a little bit, not overpowering, but just enough to add a little bit of interest. I can hold on to the stamp pad. I just want to add a little interest here and there, and this will do that. There we go. That's awesome. Okay. Every layer that you put on changes what you started with and turns it into something else and something much more beautiful. So I hope that you guys won't get discouraged when you start your base layer, because usually they don't look very good. Occasionally you might get one turn out like fantastic, but in general they don't look so great. But once you start building and adding layer upon layer, it just makes a world of difference. So do not get discouraged. Okay, so the bits we're going to add on this side are just some torn paper to start with. I've got some book text, regular English text, and some Asian text. I'm not sure what type it is, but it's beautiful. I love it. So I need to get my little paper here so that I can get my glue stick ready. Let's put this down. And I'm just going to kind of build a little cluster, I guess you'd call it, on the page of just some different papers and colors and images, just to make it fun. And use several different things, and these are all little pieces of scraps that were in my bins, and just want to use them. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, I'm going to put this little guy next to that one, like right about there. All right, I just remembered I wanted to put a little piece of this sticker, if I can get the backing off. I want to put it underneath the top of that little Asian paper. So I peeled it back up real quick before it got dry. And now I'm going to just stick this down, just kind of behind it, right near the very top, kind of like that. So that's going to go there. I'm going to put a little bit more glue down here because I want to make sure it stays. There we go. All right. And let's see. Got this this other piece. Get the backing off of that, and I'm going to put this one right about here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay, I have a little label. I actually should have put it underneath that Asian bit, but I'm going to be cutting it anyway. Cutting it in half because I only want about half of that to show. So let me just cut it in half. Okay, and it's actually going to go underneath my flower, but I'll have to see if it's going to cover, if the flower is going to cover it properly. Let me lay it there first to make sure. So we're going to have that there, and then we're going to have the flower. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. That looks kind of cute. Okay, yeah, it'll work. It'll still work. All right. All these stickers, getting the backings off of them, but coming off pretty quick. There we go. All right, so let's decide now where I want this. Yeah, I think that's fine right there. Okay. And then, excuse me, and then my flower, which will be glued on, because this is just cut from a book. Okay. Well, hold on to things. All right, so I wanted to bring this up here, cover that edge. And go just like that. Got glue on that. That's so pretty. So pretty. Okay, and then I've got a little ticket that says goals, which I'm going to put here. Kind of grounds it a little bit there. I like that. Put that over here and get some glue. Okay. There we go. I like it. Okay. Now I'll draw around an outline around some of those elements so that they'll pop up off the page a little bit more too. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what my motivational quote for this month is. And it says, "To live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong." And that is just so true. And I hope that you guys will all go ahead and use the quote that I'm giving you, because I think it'll be nice when we share these in the group for everyone to repeatedly see the same quote over and over. I think it'll cause it to stick in people's minds more, and that'll be a helpful thing. So what I did was just simply wrote out the words on a piece of cardstock, a little piece of scrap cardstock. I wrote the words out, and I'm just going to stick them down on the page. I got the words down on the quote, and added a couple of little leaves that I had stamped from my little homemade stamps. It's a bigger leaf, and I just stamped it out and then trimmed it out to the size that I wanted to use on my page. And so while I outlined some of this stuff, I just wanted to tell you guys that you can do your backgrounds any way you want to. You don't have to do them exactly like mine, just as always. Whatever, colors you want to use, whatever style, whatever focal image you want to use, it's all up to you, and I'm sure that you're going to enjoy creating. If you want to create something that looks similar to this, by all means, go ahead. I think that's great, and but if you have an idea of your own, you should do that, and I really will look forward to seeing what everybody's created. And this was just a blast. I mean, it was so simple, just throwing some paint down and then adding a little stencil, a little stamping, put some of that ink through the stencil. Just fun, and not difficult at all. And so I don't want any of you guys to get, in your head and stuck and think, that your backgrounds look awful, you don't like how they look, because like I showed you, they change so quickly. Every layer you add changes the way your background looks. And so just keep at it, and you're going to enjoy it. It's just a matter of doing it so you can actually see. If you don't do it and continue, you'll never see and enjoy what the layers will turn into. So I don't want anybody to be quitting before you've actually gone all the way through the process, because it is so much fun and anybody can do it. I truly believe that anybody can do this. So let's motivate each other. Let's share our makes, all the things that we're creating in our little journals. Let's just make sure we share them in the group so that we can inspire other people to give it a try, and just really enjoy this year. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope that you guys are, and that you'll enjoy for sure this first one, and then we'll go from there and do more. That looks a little bit better. Everything's popping up a little bit more off the page. Do these leaves also so we can see them. So we've got a little leafy branch at the bottom of the poem. And then one more thing I want to do is to take a blue Pitt pen, and I just want to go around the edge and make a little border to kind of hold all of this in. I think that really helps to ground things. So it feels like everything is being held on the page. It's amazing how it works. And just go all the way around. Like so. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, you guys, so there's our first page, and I hope you have a wonderful time creating yours. And see a little line I missed right here. There we go. Oops, another one. There we go. Okay, so have fun creating. Post it in the Mixed Media Morsels Facebook group, and take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.